All right. Welcome to the Football Talk Show, game week 11. We preview 9 out of the 10 fixtures. Unfortunately, Newcastle United couldn't follow social distancing and they've had a truckload of players end up self-isolating due to COVID. So 9 games to this week. Obviously with me is Hemsey and Gogs. Give us a wave.
Correct me if I'm wrong, right? I thought that if you couldn't put a full squad out because of coronavirus, you would automatically forfeit the game, but that's not happening, is it?
No, I don't think that's the case. I think they spoke to the Premier League and obviously spoke to Villa, and I think everyone's sympathetic to the situation, which, to be fair, in this situation, considering that's the only game that's been called off since COVID's second lockdown came into play, I think it's actually quite good.
Yeah, hang on, we're just checking. Yeah, Man U have been awarded a penalty for that. Yeah, Newcastle players COVID, Man U penalty. There you go.
They didn't get a penalty yesterday, so...
So we'll be
The most blatant
previewing...
red card ever,
this...
never given.
Right, can we focus on the Premiership rather than Champions League? Obviously, Spurs don't know what the Champions League's like, so don't worry about it.
Got to the final, like, last season or something.
Was it last season?
Yeah, but it was 2 seasons ago, and that final lasted all of a minute for you.
Yeah.
Nah, we was in the game. I don't know what you're on about.
You were not in the game. The only game you showed up was
what game
actually
you watch? If you want to rewind, like I have about 20 times.
Yeah, and all 20 times you lost, so give it a rest.
Should have won every
single time. In the first minute as well.
Yeah, exactly. So let's preview this week's fixtures. So Saturday we start with the early kickoff, Burnley against Everton. Hemsey, since you want to interrupt me every 2 minutes, why don't you start us off?
I lost the ball. Burnley, Everton, yeah? Everton, Calvert-Lewin's firing again. James Rodriguez, I've sold him in my fantasy. I'm not having it.
I can say someone's firing again. He didn't score last week, so he's not firing again.
Yeah,
he's playing too good. Calvert-Lewin's too good. Trust me. I play at a high standard. I know who's a good player, who's not.
Yeah, so was what was his face last year? Norwich guy, Piku, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Pookie. Where's he now?
Pookie, that's it. Pookie Pie. He was good for all of like 11 games, and then
Pucker pie and chips is a good shout.
Can we get back to the game, Emil?
I said 1-0 to Burnley.
I thought Everton were firing on all cylinders. What the hell?
Yeah, but James Rodriguez, they're putting him in the team, and he's just not doing anything. And he's like playing with 10 men right now. So I'm going 1-0 to Burnley.
Okay, Gogs, can you talk some sense now? Because I don't understand half the stuff.
Well, Burnley lost 5-0 against Man City. I don't know what it is with Burnley and going to Man City. Did you see that last 4 results at the Etihad? They've lost 5-0 4 times. They seem to get to Etihad and not play. And considering the week before they did a decent job, they kind of didn't show up against Man City. And then Everton lost 1-0 against Leeds. Both deservedly lost. And I think this is a game where Everton, I think they need to hit the ground running again. They've had a great start to the season, but over the last couple of weeks have just not shown what they're doing. But for me, I think this could be an upset of the week, one of the upsets of the weekend. So I'm going to get Burnley 2-1. Yes, Calvert-Lewin might get on the score sheet first, but I think Burnley will get a 2-1 win.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat with both of you. I think Burnley got their first win of the season before they went to the Etihad. The Etihad obviously isn't a great stomping ground for them, and Everton are showing signs of that good start dropping off. I think they've lost 2 in the last 4. Obviously, Man U was one of those, and then Leeds this weekend, or the weekend just gone. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Burnley win as well. I think Burnley have got enough to get the result here. Speaking of Man City, they're the next ones on the list. Man City entertain Fulham. Gog, start us off.
Well, so that thing that I do like every week where I absolutely ruin a player and then he goes and scores a hat-trick. So I did it with Bamford a couple of weeks ago and I did it with Mahrez last week. So what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start banning a player every week. I'm just going to put maybe a £1 bet for them to score for a hat-trick. But fair play. That was the Mahrez of old, and that's the kind of performance he should be showing week in, week out. Because we know he can do it, but the problem is, since he's gone to Man City, he's not showing it on a consistent basis. Whether that's been due to the fact that he's not been playing consistently, or Pep doesn't have the faith in him, or just for the fact that it's just one of those things. But they're playing Fulham, and Fulham beat Leicester, and I'll put my hands up and say, well done to Fulham, deservedly won. The better team won on the day. We were atrocious. Fulham were better, but I can't see Man City losing this. Yes, Fulham will be on a high after beating us and getting the 3 points, which is going to be vital for them at the end of the season. But I can only see them getting drubbed here as well. So I'm going for a 5-0, and I'm going to say De Bruyne is going to have an awful game. I'm going to put him on my FPL for the week as well. So there you go.
Okay. Hamzy?
Yeah, De Bruyne is getting a hat-trick this week. I'm telling you, fantasy football, you've got to have him. He was trying to score so bad last week and nothing was happening. Definitely getting a hat-trick this week. I think Fulham played great against Leicester. Really, the tactics worked, and Leicester looked short of ideas. I think they've bit of reality's kicked in with Leicester. I think
What reality is that exactly? What reality is that?
You started to think you're going to chase us down for the title. Not happening, mate. Not again. Not in my lifetime.
But when did I say that? I never said that.
You were thinking about it. You're watching reruns of 2015. That's what you were doing.
Hamel, Spurs is just going to trip over their own shoelaces again, so let's not get carried away. So what's your prediction for the Man City Fulham game?
We're going to wear strap-ons and we're going to go all the way.
You're going to wear strap-ons?
Velcro.
You're going to wear strap-ons?
Velcro.
Why don't you lend them one of yours? Why don't you lend them one of yours?
Velcro.
Fulham,
right, Fulham are going to give them a test.
Fulham are 25 to 1 to win. 25 to 1 to win.
4-2. Man City.
Yeah, I mean, Man City will score here, plenty of goals. This is going to be one of those games which I don't think Fulham are going to get trounced, but I do think they'll lose. I'm going for a 3-1. I think Fulham will score, but I think City will have enough to get the result. Right, West Ham United versus Manchester United, always a tasty encounter. United's record at West Ham hasn't been great recently in the Premiership. Hemsey, start us off.
Cavani should not be playing. We do not condone racist behaviour on the Football Talk Show. Should be banned for like 6 games. That's first thing. Second thing, I don't like to say it, but I think West Ham are going to win. I think West Ham 1-0. Souček, who's also in my fantasy football team, is going to bag a header, and the Ole comedy show is going to carry on. 1-0 West Ham.
All right, Gogsy, what do you think?
West Ham, they're having a good season, considering. 2-1 win against Villa. Were they fortunate against Villa? Should it have been?
Yeah, just a bit.
I think that was where the VAR is still not going to be winning people over. But no, fair play to them. They won. I don't know. They don't control VAR, so a 2-1 win. And then Man U, obviously, a great result for them last week against Southampton. 2-0 down, 3-2 winners. That was kind of the United of old coming back. When United of 10 years ago would be down, you would never write them off. And recently, when they have been losing, you never saw that coming. But I don't know, for some reason, you just kind of saw that result coming where they would come back down. Cavani, he is what he is. He's a proven goal scorer, and he's going to get you goals. I thought he was unlucky yesterday. That chip was quality. But I think where Man United are going to be falling down now is Rashford. He doesn't look like he's hitting any kind of form yet. You can be banging out a hat-trick against, Sainsbury's FC in the Champions League. But when it comes to a decent team, I think he's going to struggle. Martial, he looks void of confidence. I think he needs to be dropped. And I think that's where I think Man U are still a little bit ropey at the back. I'm going to go for a West Ham 3-1 here. And I think it'll be quite comfortable for them.
I think the last 2 performances I've seen United play, we've actually created more chances than we have previously. Like, there's a lot more creativity in the way we played, especially yesterday against PSG. Like, don't get me wrong, if you don't take your chances, you're going to lose. And Fred did deserve to get sent off in the first half. There's no disputing that.
Oh, 100%. How is the referee not sent him off? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, I reckon with Fred, Barney needs to have a word. Barney will talk some sense into Fred. And then Fred stops getting sent off.
Is that a Flintstones reference?
Yeah, Barney Rubble, Fred Flintstone.
Does that makes you Wilma then, yeah?
Yeah. Well, he is the one with the strap on, so let's move on.
He wants to make you bedrock after all.
I think I think West Ham were very, very fortunate. I wasn't impressed with the way West Ham played against Villa. I think Villa had them. And to be honest, the VAR thing isn't VAR the system; it's the official managing VAR. It's human error that's causing these issues.
It's Sir Alex Ferguson sitting in the VAR studio. That's what's going on.
Yeah, it may be, but he doesn't own a strap-on like you. So let's not talk about Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm going for a United win. I think it's going to be an impressive victory. I think we're going to win 3-1. I think we'll play well. And I see a penalty for Bruno Fernandes.
Shock.
Yeah, I know, shock. Right, next game, Chelsea, Leeds. It's actually one of the games I'm looking forward to this weekend. Gonzi, start us off.
First of all, I must say that the big match hype, Battle of the Bridge, Spurs going for the title, Chelsea spending so much money. That game last week, I have to say, from the bottom of my heart, was atrocious. It was pathetic. It was probably one of the worst games of all last week. Two teams. It was two teams that couldn't be bothered.
Look, at the end of the day, it was a game where Mourinho didn't want to lose, and he didn't care enough about the win to go for it. He was happy to say to Chelsea, "If you want to win, go for it. We'll just keep breaking on you."
But the problem was Chelsea didn't go for it. If they actually were to potentially attack a little bit more, they're both very cagey. It was definitely a case of Chelsea went into that game not wanting to lose, and so did Spurs. And then you got that drab 0-0. And then Leeds, fantastic result against Everton. Rafinha, lovely goal by Rafinha last week. And that's the thing with Leeds. You know what you're going to get with Leeds. They're going to attack and attack and attack, and that's good on the eye. But the problem is, if they come up against a half-decent team, they're going to be attacking them. They're going to concede goals, and that's what happened against Palace a couple of weeks ago when they conceded 4, against Leicester when they conceded 4. So I see goals in here, and I see Leeds losing, unfortunately. I think if they're going to be attacking Chelsea with that high press as well, I think Chelsea might just pick them off. So for me, Chelsea to win and 3-0.
That's it.
Yeah, Chelsea Spurs last week was a bit of a drab affair. We came with a strategy. We got what we wanted out of the game. We got what we wanted out of the game. The point keeps us top. Chelsea lacked Giroud, bagged 4 goals yesterday, so I imagine he'll be starting.
He won't be starting. I think he should. I'm surprised he doesn't play enough games. Like, he's proving to score goals as a centre forward. And Tammy Abraham is just non-existent.
I rate Giroud. I rate Giroud. I would have a Giroud all day at Leicester.
He's a target man. He's a perfect option to have. He's not just a super sub. He's a direct threat. And the way Chelsea play, they all run around changing positions, free roaming. It's good to have a guy in the box at the end of it.
He only needs a couple of more goals now to equal Thierry Henry's record for France, right?
Yeah,
and that says a lot about him. The guy's a quality player. Yeah, he might not have the pace about him, but you know that if you get the balls into the box, he's gonna be the first one that's attacking him. And I think he's a quality striker. But the problem is, if you put him into your team, if you put him into your fantasy football team, you know he's not gonna be starting. So it's kind of a waste of money for him.
It's not a week in, week out solution. We're just talking Chelsea here. I think right now he's in form. Let him play. Hemsey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the actual fact that Giroud will play this weekend is going to work against Chelsea.
I don't think
Leeds are going to push. Leeds are going to push up. There's going to be a lot of space in behind, and they could do with some pace going in behind. I think Giroud will slow things up. I think this is the sort of game Leeds are going to turn up and get a surprise result for me. I think 2-1 to Leeds.
Wow, surprising. I'm going to go, I think Leeds will score 2. I actually agree with you on that one, but I think Chelsea are going to score 4. I think the idea of a high line is going to play into Chelsea's hands because Giroud will play off, Werner will play off Giroud basically. And you'll see Werner making runs in behind that defence, and that defence will get pulled. So yeah, I'm going 4-2 Chelsea. Right, moving on to Sunday's fixtures.
I just want to change mine. I want to go 3-1, not 3-0.
All right, well, we'll let you change it. We're feeling generous here.
Can I make like 4 score predictions as well and just pick the one I want?
No. I'm changing it from 3-0 to 3-1.
All right. He knows it goes the other way.
At least I'm changing it while we're recording, not afterwards.
Let me keep going. All right, Sunday, West Brom against Palace. I think I'm going to start this one off. West Brom got their first victory of the season last weekend. I'm sure Goggs' dad was over the moon.
Just
I
about.
think they're going to get. I think they're going to get a second victory. I think they're going to beat Palace. I don't know why. I feel like Palace. You know what you're going to get from Palace, but I feel like Palace are finding it a bit more difficult at the moment. Like Zaha, I think still out because he's had a confirmed case. So
And he had a baby, didn't he? Recently.
Yeah, so when Zaha doesn't play, they lose such an attacking option. Don't get me wrong; they've still got other options, but you can see how different they are without him. And I think West Brom are going to win this 2-0.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. I think West Brom. It was a great result from last week. Not the most prettiest. Sheffield United could have scored 3 or 4, and they should have. They're just not. They're not finishing their chances. But fair play to West Brom. They've got the 3 points on there, and it's job done. Why have I froze? Have I froze?
Yeah, you've frozen.
Oh man. Hold on.
Pardon.
Oh yeah. So let me put my camera back on. Yeah. So yeah, great result for them. And obviously Palace lost 2-0 against Newcastle. It was going for a drab 0-0, and then Newcastle hit them with the sucker punch twice in the last couple of minutes. But I'm going to go for West Brom 2-0. Karlan Grant to score, and then them to continue them with the momentum. Really.
Emzy?
Right, this is not a game I'm particularly going to be interested in watching. I think 0-0. It's going to be a ball fest. And then we just get ready for the top game of the weekend coming up after that.
That's Sheffield United Leicester then, Hemsey. Why don't you give us the talk about that one then?
Yeah, that's the game I meant. Sheffield United Leicester, yeah. It's top game of the weekend. Yeah, it's going to be a cracker. Jamie Vardy against Jagielka. Or Egan. Who's the guy who plays centre back? I made a big mistake in my fantasy football. I'm really worried about it. But anyway, we'll go on to that afterwards. We'll talk about it during that preview game. Leicester were terrible against Fulham. Absolutely terrible. I mean, when you're bringing on Iheanacho, that shows desperate times. That's what. Whenever I see Iheanacho coming on, that means Leicester are desperate. And Fulham just outplayed them. The tactics were perfect, and Leicester couldn't handle it. And every time I see Fuchs play, I'm worried for Leicester. Yeah,
he's not the same, is he? From when he won the title.
Honestly, forget that. He's done. Honestly, he should not be in that team. I'd stick a youth player ahead of Fuchs.
Do you know what it is?
Nothing. I don't know what Goggs thinks, but I watch Fuchs and he is awful. Honestly,
mate. You know what it is? When you compare him to a Tottenham player, he's what's weighing him down compared to what Tottenham players are. He's got that Premier League winners medal that's weighing him down. So
I knew that was coming.
He's not I knew it was coming. It's about a 5-year-old joke.
Don't matter. It don't make a difference, mate. You're still using a 10-year-old.
How's it Hemel? They won the title in 2017. How's it a 5-year joke?
2012.
2016, actually.
And how is that even? That's 8 years.
I lost count. I can't even count that many. Man.
Right, give us a score prediction, please, for Sheffield United Leicester.
Me, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going. If Fuchs plays, which I'm assuming he will, Sheffield United win 2-0.
Just out of curiosity, who else will be playing for Leicester?
Other players?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, because you clearly only know one player. So who else will be playing?
I know who played the whole game. Justin, that Bafana guy, and then Evans, Johnny Evans, and then in midfield. I know the whole team. Don't test me. Mendy played with.
No. I said who's going to play this weekend, not who played.
Danny Drinkwater played. Who was it?
Yeah.
Gods.
Who played the second midfield? I know who played the second midfield.
All right, Hemsey.
Madison.
Gods, can you give us a prediction? Hemsey?
I was really disappointed with us. Fulham Fulham did Leicester on Leicester. Hit us on a counter-attack, and where Leicester suffer is when teams have got a high block, and I've been saying this for weeks. When we play the likes of United, or we're playing Man City, or we're playing Leeds United, and they're going to be attacking us, that falls into our hands where we can go bang, 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 and hit them on counter break. But when we've got high block to break down, it's difficult, really, really difficult. It's difficult for any team to break down 11 men behind the ball, and Fulham did that well against us. And credit where credit's due, they deserve the win. Sheffield United are going to be doing exactly the same thing, and when we face that, I worry about it because our normal game goes out the window. So I think it's going to be a tough game for us. I see here a 1-1 draw for us, and personally, I'll take that. I prefer to take a 1-1 draw than a loss, so that's what I'm going for.
I think Leicester played badly against Fulham. I think they underestimated Fulham. I think a lot of people will this season, or they don't expect much from a Fulham side that I don't expect much from. So I was very surprised that Leicester didn't show up and trounce Fulham. But Sheffield United, the problem with Sheffield United at the moment, they just can't find the goal. And I think the frustration will continue. And I see Leicester getting the result here. I think Leicester will get back on track. I'm going for a 2-0 Leicester win. I think Sheffield United they're just not showing anything that impresses me at the moment. Their style of play is being read and they're just being found out. So yeah, Leicester to win. Right, next game. Spurs against the Arsenal in the North London derby. Two London teams that no one likes and everyone wants to take the mick out of. Hemsey, why don't you let Gogs go first?
Well, this has got Arsenal getting smashed all over it, to be honest with you. But it all depends on whether Harry Kane's fit. Mourinho's already playing mind games. I don't think he's playing tonight, but I think he'll be fully fit for the weekend. I think he'll be fully fit. But the thing is, with Arsenal, you just don't know what Arsenal team is going to show up against the minnows of the league. They're not performing. But when they played against United, they played really well against United and they scored and rightly won. So I don't know. I just think on paper this says Spurs 4-0, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal win here.
Oh, wow. Hemsey.
Right. If you want to win the title, you have to win these games against these teams battling relegation. It's very important you turn up. These guys are fighting for their lives in the Premier League. You have to turn up and you have to perform. Kane or no Kane, Vinicius will play. If Kane doesn't play, no problem. Mourinho will have a plan. He's too clever for Arteta. We're going to go 1-0. I think it's going to be a proper Mourinho masterclass. Get a goal, shut him out. That's it. Job done. I think
Mourinho
Sonaldo.
Does Mourinho really need to park the bus against this current Arsenal team? No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. But Mourinho is just defensively. We've got the best defensive record in the league. It's no coincidence. He has the best defensive record in the league with Serge Aurier, Eric Dyer at the back.
Yeah, but when you're playing that
Davison Sanchez,
and you don't attack.
These are terrible defenders. I'm telling you, he has turned them into a well-oiled machine. He is so good. Mourinho is the man. We win 1-0.
But that's what you get with Mourinho. You know what you get with Mourinho. It's not pretty on the eye, but it's good for you. You get
winning football.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really argue with that, can you?
I do think Spurs tactically this game. If the Arsenal players can't show up and show the passion that they did last season with Arteta for this game, then I think Arteta's done. I don't see him keeping his job much longer if he can't get a result here. Unfortunately, I can't say anything other than a Spurs trouncing. I think Spurs are going to get. I don't think it's going to be as 1-0 and sit back. I think it's going to be a 3-0 and an absolute pasting on Arsenal.
If Spurs score early, the first 10 minutes, they could be in for a pasting. To be fair.
Oh yeah, I just the thing with Arsenal is they're going to play they're going to play 4 at the back, so 2 centre backs, 2 full backs. Bellerin, Tierney. They work well when they play 3 in the back and Tierney plays as the left back as a left centre back rather than a left wing back. With Saka playing the left wing back or the Maitland-Niles. So that's a possibility as well. So he could change the tactics up for this game. But the question will still be asked, why hasn't he still struggles against the smaller teams? The defeat to Wolves, no disrespect to Wolves, Wolves were classic. Daniel Podol's goal was ridiculous. They were
lovely,
the better team.
Lovely finish.
They deserved to win that game comfortably, probably even more than 2-1. But those types of games, this is the type of game Arsenal can show up, but I just don't think they will. I think the players will bottle it. So yeah, I'm going for a Spurs 3-0. Right, Liverpool against Wolves. We already know Wolves will be without Raul Jimenez, unfortunately suffering that fractured skull. Wish him all the best.
Get well soon, man. That was a horrible injury.
Yeah, you could hear it. I even went a second I heard it. I messaged in like one of my family groups and said, "Oh, did you hear that
It was.
headbutt?" Like,
Oh, mate. You,
it
you
was
don't you don't you
filthy.
don't wish injury on anybody, and especially one of those kind of injuries. Look, no one knows what it is right yet at the moment, and it could be career threatening, but hopefully not.
God, sorry, Hemsey, why don't you give us your prediction for this game?
Yeah, it was a nasty injury. We wish him well, but I don't see how he plays again. Fractured skull, and you heard it. So, and as a striker to play, you're always at the risk of those head collisions.
Who was that Tottenham player that had a fracture?
Ryan Mason. And
Ryan
Mason was less severe than that.
And he had
Yeah,
an
was
X-ray,
another one,
wasn't it?
Yeah, Ian Hume, when he was he left Leicester, he was I think he was at Sheffield United or something, and he was underneath a bigger guy's elbow. The elbow went full down on him, and completely.
Petr Cech had it, but he could wear the helmet. So
exactly,
yeah.
it's different for a keeper, but you can't be wearing a helmet as a striker.
It was such a bad collision. In fact, I hope they're checking Luiz as well properly, because he must be. He shouldn't have played. I don't know why he's playing.
He's not playing this weekend, though, is he? I don't think he's definitely not playing tonight. I think as proportion they're not gonna.
But the mistake I made with fantasy football, I bought Phillips of Liverpool and I bought Nico Williams, trying to be clever. Now I'm worried that both.
Sorry, guys,
play.
I'm losing both of you signal-wise.
Oh, okay. Let me try and reconnect. Is mine back on?
I can see you, Hemel. It's
Shane,
can you hear?
So Shane.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I bought Nico Williams and Phillips. I'm worried both of them ain't going to play, but hopefully they will. Liverpool have been impressive, haven't they? Nicking, getting results, grinding out results. Wolves are going to, you don't know how Wolves are going to react now. It's a very difficult game to call, but you've got to go with Liverpool, don't you? I think 2-0 to Liverpool for me.
Yeah, for me, I think you can't look past the Liverpool win. Yeah, can you hear me? Shane?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't look past the Liverpool win here. Wolves without a Jimenez is like you take their main threat out, even though they've got a threat all over the pitch. They're just not the same team. And Liverpool have been grinding out results, even though they drew 1-1 against Brighton last week. I think this is a comfortable 3-0 win for them. So yeah, a 3-0 win for Liverpool this weekend.
I don't see Liverpool winning 3-0 right now against anyone. I think they're struggling for. They're getting the results. They're winning nitty-gritty. They're winning ugly. And to be honest, to be champions, you have to win ugly as well. The difference being when we're saying Liverpool win ugly compared to, say, when Spurs win 1-0 and we say it's a Mourinho masterclass, it's a little different. We expect more from Liverpool. We obviously put them on a pedestal after what they did last season, how they smashed teams. I think this game is going to be a 2-1 Liverpool win. I think Wolves will score. But I think Liverpool will have enough, and I see Jota and Salah getting on the score sheet.
Well, Mane
2-1 Liverpool.
9 games, does he?
Yeah, he's due a goal, but I just don't see it coming right now. He's struggling to find that form. He's doing nothing wrong. His movement's good. He just doesn't seem to get the opportunity, a clean opportunity to score. Right, final game, Monday Night Football, Brighton, Southampton. I think I'll go first. Brighton got a credible 1-1 draw with Liverpool. I still think they deserved it. They worked hard. They gave it a good shot. And it's always one of those when you're pushing hard and you get the opportunity from the spot. VAR is there for a reason. Obviously, we don't always agree with the reason, but I think in my eyes, that was a penalty. Southampton, incredibly unlucky. Obviously, as a United fan, I was over the moon. We got the result, but you're 2-0 up against anyone in the Premiership. You should be looking to see out the game. And yeah, they bottled it at the end there. They couldn't find a way out. I think a lot of people are being quite harsh on Vestergaard. His back had gone. He had injured his back earlier in the game. And the Cavani equaliser, he stuck all the way back into the 6-yard box. And obviously everyone was played onside because of it. He had actually injured his back, which is why he was struggling to get out. I'm going for a draw in this game. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think Southampton will get something out of this game, but I think Brighton will have enough to avoid defeat. So yeah, 1-1 for me. Hamzy?
Brighton were impressive against Liverpool. Southampton, like you say, they flopped it big time against Man U and should not have messed that up. No way. I don't think Cavani is good, but no way should they have lost that game. I think Brighton are going to get some confidence out of that late equaliser, and 1-0 to me for Brighton. Welbeck.
For me, I think Brighton last week got the result that their performances this season deserved. They played well last week. They missed one penalty and they scored one penalty. Did you hear that stat the other day? They've scored as many goals as Man City and have conceded less than Liverpool, and look where they are. So that just says what kind of performances they've been putting in this season. They got Lamptey back this week as well, which is really good for them.
He's really good.
Yeah, I think that will be good for them to shore him up at the back. But I still think Southampton will be in this game. Even though they've got no Danny Ings, they're still a threat going forward. I'm going to go for a Desmond Tutu, so a 2-2 draw for me.
And that concludes game week 11. Hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to get off and enjoy the rest of our evenings, and Hamill's going to play with his strap on. So
yes,
until he's finished with that, I guess we'll see you next weekend for game week 12.
Cool.
See ya.
See you later, guys.